So as you guys know, Puff Daddy recently was found guilty of 2 counts of violating the Mann Act, facing 2 to 4 years. And he submitted a bail request and it was denied. Now, there is speculation about Trump potentially pardoning him. A story came out recently and Trump he didn't rule out pardoning Diddy 2 months ago.
Host of The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening. And I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up from what I read. I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. It's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So, I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Now, he said that then, but in a more recent interview, where your boy 50 Cent happily
Sean Diddy Combs,
right?
Would you consider pardoning him?
Well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent.
Yes.
I don't know what they do. He's still in jail or something, but he was celebrating a victory, but I guess it wasn't as good as a victory. Probably, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well. But when I ran for office, he was very hostile.
He said some not so nice things about you, sir.
Yeah, and it's hard, like you, we're human beings.
Right.
And we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you knew someone and you were fine, and then you run for office and he made some terrible statements. So I don't know, it's more difficult. It makes it more, I'm being honest, it makes it more difficult to do.
But more likely a no for Combs,
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about George Santos?
As you see, it's like a nope. A nope. Now, Diddy has found himself in even more hot water, guys, and it's because of his bail request, right? So you have to read this. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the legalese of this, but this is the judge's opinion, okay? So we're just going to take a quick look at this last part, okay? So he was denied bail, and this is the judge rationale, okay? Let's go. As for risk of flight and danger, Combs fails to meet his burden to be clear and convincing evidence for the reasons set forth on July 2nd hearing. Increasing the amount for the bond or devising additional conditions doesn't change the calculus given in the circumstances heavy burden of proof Combs bears. Okay. Now, at the trial, the defense conceded the defender, which is Puff Daddy, violence in his personal relationships. This type of violence, which happens behind closed doors, it's impossible to police with conditions. So this is his own team saying this, Diddy's own team saying it. So the judge said on this basis alone, Combs' application is denied. Now, it gets better. It gets better because this is the judge about to get some insight into what the judge is thinking. And this is 100% going to translate to when he gets sentenced. He's going to be sentenced based on what the judge believes to be true. Even in the flight of danger requirement was satisfied, there's no exceptional reasons warranting a departure from Congress as required. Combs' Mann Act arguments, which have traction in a case that didn't involve evidence of violence, coercion, or subjugation in connection with the acts of prostitution at issue, but the record contains evidence of all three, as in the record of the trial. The record of the trial shows violence, coercion, subjugation, and this is what the judge is about to say. While Combs may contend at sentencing that the evidence should be discounted and that what happened was nothing more than a case of willing swingers utilizing voluntary services of escorts for their mutual pleasure, the government takes the opposite view, as in him. He is the government. The judge is the government, guys. That Cassie Ventura and Jane were beaten, coerced, threatened, lied to, victimized by Combs as part of their participation in these events. Oh, sorry. Give me a second. In these, hold on. In these events, that makes this case unlikely any of the cases Combs points to in this place. It's outside of the narrow exception to detention that Congress otherwise deemed mandatory. To be clear, as indicated in the July 2nd hearing, the court offers no view of how the parties' competing arguments about the evidence will cash out for the purposes of sentencing, which is happening just 60 days at this juncture. However, the record doesn't establish this kind of out of the ordinary, exceptional circumstances required immediate release. So the judge sees this as a very unique case, because typically when you get sentenced, they say, hey, the judge was like, show me a case that's similar to this one and what they were sentenced to for the sentencing guidelines, right? So in the judge's mind, like, hey, dog, this is the first case of any kind where you were convicted of the Mann Act, which is crossing state lines to engage in prostitution. And you could say it was no violence, but the record overall, not the counts he was convicted of, other counts show violence, coercion, subjugation, although he wasn't convicted of sex trafficking. So this literally opens up the gate for Diddy to get I think the state wanted 57 to 63 months. The prosecutor wanted 57 to 63 months. And Diddy's team is asking for the sentencing guidelines of 21 to 24 months. And they want time served with probation deferred. So I think, this is me, I have no insider information, that Diddy is likely going to get 3 to 4 years, because this makes this case unlike any of the cases Combs points to, the violence. So with that being said, look for Diddy to get sentenced to above the sentencing guidelines, but not quite what the state wants as the max 3 to 4 years. And, what he's going to get sentenced for is what the judge saw. You see a man beat a woman on a video camera, he paid them not to get the tape out. You hear about him settling the assault charges. You hear her telling the story of she was raped. The judge found Cassie Ventura and 50 Cent's baby mama to be credible. Now, I understand one of his girls wrote a letter to the judge saying he should be released and he's not violent anymore. And all that could be good, dandy. And he could be a changed person. I'm sure he is. He's going through all this rehab and all that good stuff. So his pre-sentencing report is going to show everything he's doing to show he's rehabilitated. But I still think the judge is going to give him 3 to 4 years. Not quite what Diddy want, not quite what the state want, but above the minimum sentence requirements. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next video. Peace. All right. We're going to try to do Mudahar in 13 minutes, and we're going to skip. We're going to, then I'll drop the link. Does anyone want to talk though tonight? Like, if y'all don't want to talk, I ain't gonna make y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna peer pressure you. If y'all say y'all good, then y'all good. Let me see. Let me drop the link right now while we cover Mudahar. VC. Oh, we could do VC because I got to make thumbnails. I have to figure out this goddamn. I gotta figure out this StreamYard bull crap because I do not like that y'all can unmute yourselves. I do not. I actually hate it. But here, I'll drop the link for you guys.